All right, so
All right.
again, we're back. We're back
First
after some technical
one,
difficulties.
BBLD.
Yeah, we got the Big Bad Listing Daddy podcast and video.
I feel honored
vlog.
to be the first one.
I had to bring you on. You are the.
Or second? No, Maddie.
I mean, technically, Maddie was one,
so,
but you're the first official live
very cool.
release here. Yeah.
Thank you.
So I wanted to bring the head of the Golden Group on, the man of many talents.
Oh.
We're not going to talk too much about work, but we'll talk a little bit about work.
Yeah, we will.
I just wanted to chat about other stupid things and
for sure.
how you get paid by the Dolans to spin how great the Indians trades are every year.
Exactly. I was debating about creating a persona called the Kool-Aid drinker because I just like.
That's perfect for you.
I'm really good at like spinning stats and to like make it seem like something is better than it might be right now.
Yeah,
like,
there's a lot of people in our fantasy football leagues that loved that you. Who did you bring up that had familial ties? And it was like
the Nailers.
Yeah, the Nailers.
Bo
That's
Naylor.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah, the Nailers.
Bo and Josh.
Yeah, because the families all played sports.
Exactly. You got and the Tuckers too. They got they drafted Cole Tucker. The Carson Tucker was their first round pick.
This has been going on for years. So we've known each other since we've been like what 8?
First grade or. Yeah,
because you guys would come to Westlake when we lived in Westlake, but we didn't live in.
That's
what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't really remember you guys too much from my Village in the Park days. But
You were very different than Mike. Likes to wrestle, and he was very active and he had a lot of energy, and I'm a little more like laid back, So I was like, wow, that guy has a lot of energy. He wanted to roll down hills and like do all these things. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess we'll do it, But yeah, so that was my first memories of you. It was just like, so much more energy than I.
I always liked when my son would walk outside and I'd be like, hey, go outside and do something, and I would just watch him hit a stick against a bigger tree, and I'm like, that's stuff I used to do when I was little.
Oh yeah,
just
like,
brainless idiot.
Yeah, we used to roll down that hill.
We did.
Yeah, exactly.
We were trying to ride our bikes down there because the creek was down there.
But like you were just always like into sports. Like you were probably like you were one of my first ones that was like always into football and really into and we would always you always wanted to play football.
Which is weird because my parents did not like my parents were hippies.
Yeah.
So they were not very like athletic. My dad stopped playing sports when he was
fast.
He was
fast.
But he stopped playing sports in like 5th or 6th grade, and it was just done.
Yeah, he's fast.
If you ever watch that man shoot a basketball, you'll laugh for 10 hours.
Watching Mike play football, by the way, was one of the best things ever because Mike was just hit people so freaking hard. What would they call you, Pasadyn?
Yeah, I was the earth
like,
shaker for a while.
Earth shaker,
That was my nickname.
You could just like tackle people and spear them. Is the best. So.
This was a good sport to get your anger out.
Heck yeah,
So now you get to watch me lose my mind playing Madden when we play Madden together.
Yeah, that's fun.
And I scream at the television.
Mike and I have been playing Madden since I can remember. And how many controllers have you broken?
Probably 50.
At this point?
It's got to be a lot. But I always say they're my controllers, so I can do whatever I want with them.
Exactly. Mike is literally probably 10 years before his time, because if he would have been like a teenager during Twitch or YouTube and you were live streaming your like mental breakdown.
Oh, I'd have 1,000 sponsors
people
and
watching you, because oh my gosh, they're like the awkwardness that would happen sometimes when it would be like 10 of us all playing and Mike is like battling someone else and they're like getting down to it and like someone wins at the last minute or whatever, like bam, the controller go, it's just like, oh, it's fun, but that's I'm sure every friend group in the country
has somebody like that.
Yeah,
has a crazy person that screams and yells and throws stuff.
Crazy. It's just you're competitive.
I'm very competitive. I hate to lose.
Yeah.
It's been in my bloodstream forever.
Yeah.
I probably have a little bit of a Napoleon complex too, since I'm only like 5'9". So I got a little bit of the shortest thing. Yeah.
I never thought about that.
Yeah, I probably have like a thing going on there where I'm too short and I prove my worth to everybody.
Oh well, I guess I never
thought about that.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I wanted to talk a little bit about you've got 500 businesses and real estate was your major starting point.
Yeah.
I want you to tell everybody about why you got into real estate, because I harassed you so much.
Yeah, honest to goodness, Mike was a big reason. So like I started getting into real estate and I started classes probably about a year and a half actually before I got licensed, because I had another job and I would always just put it off and everything. And then it took Mike actually was when your best friend actually goes and buys a house and they're harassing you for months to go do it and you just put it off and put it off. And then you actually see them go and buy that house, and you're like, oh man, well, that could have been me. Like, I'm just wasting thousands of dollars by not going up and pursuing it. It really kind of was one of the triggers that really kind of, accelerated that whole process for me. So thank you. for that, 'cause it's definitely been a crazy journey since then.
Yeah, I mean, you've started how many businesses since you started in real estate? Yeah, and I wanted to branch off a little bit on that because I know it's really tough to balance your work and family life.
Yeah, and
it's stressful and all of those things.
So
how is it being a dad and being a real estate agent? Because we work weird hours.
Yeah, and it's hard. It's a really, I had a talk with someone, and it was probably I battled with this for years and years, and it was so funny how like serendipity kind of plays involved, and I was probably going through my hardest time with it, and I went on an actual photo shoot, and this guy just happened to be there. And this guy happened to own 6 businesses, and one was like a wedding center, one was like, he had all different types, and it was like one of the first people, and he was like, because I asked, he had 3 kids, and I was like, when you get to that point, like, how did you do this? Like, I'm struggling, I'm like really, and he's like, it's not about the quantity of the time that you spend, it's about the quality of the time that you spend. If you really, your kids will know that you're working and trying to do that, but when you're home and you're engaged and you're doing all these things with them when you're there, I think that's what's really important. And that like was just such an eye-opening thing for me, where that, it's just funny how sometimes when you need someone to tell you something, like it just happens. And that was like just one of those like, hey, instead of being worried about how much time I'm spending at home and how little time, when I'm actually there, I'm going to be very engaged and very committed, and it's really worked. I've really, this year I've been fortunate to have, start to build out an infrastructure with you, a lot of other people that allow me to have more leverage in my life to be home, and be there. But it's the thing I struggle with by far the most in life, and I don't think anyone ever gets it really great.
No, I don't think anybody ever can nail that. And it's always tough coming home because you know that work is always there, especially in real estate. It's never an ending process,
right.
And it's hard to put your phone on vibrate and throw it in a drawer and just hang out with everybody and be present.
I mean, this is someone's most valuable asset they're buying. This isn't, like, hey, they're purchasing, chips at the store, like they're buying their mostly. So it's hard to be like, oh, hey, can you put that on hold while I help my kids go to, and don't get me wrong, obviously it's important, but it's trying to balance it all. It's just a balance.
Yeah, and I think people are as we have, as society has evolved, I think customer service is a bigger and bigger aspect of everybody's lives, and if they're not getting serviced immediately, they get very, very angry.
Yeah, right? Yeah, when did that happen, right?
Yeah.
When did it go into when you're apologizing for taking 2 or 3 hours to get back to someone? Like, I apologize to people.
yeah, it took 120 minutes for me to get back to you.
Exactly. Yeah, like, when did it get to the point where I'm apologizing for taking an hour?
Yes.
It's like, that's the expectations we're getting to, and it just seems like,
everybody wants stuff now. Amazon's changed it all.
Yeah,
because you can get stuff in 2 days.
Yeah,
and then when you don't get your stuff in 2 days, you freak out about it. Like, remember, everybody was crazy this winter because they were trying to order stuff from everybody, and the post office was late, and FedEx was late, and UPS was late,
right?
Because everybody was staying at home and they were ordering stuff. No one was really going to the store and shopping like they normally do.
Yeah.
So this buying season was vastly different. People were just losing their minds about how long it took to get their
really good point.
Their goods and services.
I think Amazon really has just changed that a lot,
Yeah, everyone's expectations of because if you call and tell them, hey, this thing came broken, they're just like, here's your money. They don't even care because they have they have so much insurance money that they're just like, whatever, we'll give you your $20 back.
Like, I mean, how many things can you call and order it and have it the same day?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's crazy what magic that they pull off.
Well, I always like to make the joke. I always thought it was you were always coming up with crazy ideas, and I always thought it was funny. And one of the ones that I always used to make fun of you about was the grocery shopping idea you had.
Oh, yeah.
And I've used Instacart multiple times in my life, especially now with COVID, and really now with kids. It's so much easier for me to pay somebody $15 to go grocery shop for me, and I don't have to spend 2 hours doing it.
100%.
I know it sounds lazy and stupid, but
no, I think it sounds exactly where the world is heading. It's like, we had the first company I actually thankfully didn't go into is kind of decided to do was Time Savers. That's what it was. Located at all the I probably still have the business name registered somewhere. It was because you kind of start to see where everything's heading. Everyone wants things done easy, as simple as they can, in one place, or where convenience is becoming in. And part of it is the economy that we live in. We're living in a pretty prosperous economy, or over the last, say, 5 to 10 years, like compared to the other years where, people have a little bit more disposable income to afford to pay
A landscaper
$10 in
or an
addition to my-
Instacart or-
Yeah, exactly. You could deliver my McDonald's and I'll pay you $7 extra for that.
Yeah, even that, like Uber Eats and
exactly,
DoorDash.
Exactly. And you think of like, okay, like, how in the world could people justify spending $14 on a Big Mac and fries,
When you could just go sit in the drive-thru and do it yourself.
It's like, but like that's where, I think it's always constantly surprising in human behavior of like, hey, where's
and how it changes
how we
and
adjust, I think that's the most interesting thing. And it's also with real estate. I like all those little psychological thoughts because it's like, who knows? It's like, hey, we have house-shaped business cards. Does it matter?
People love them. Every time
comment on it?
Yeah, every time I hand it to somebody, they're like, oh, this is cool. Looks like a house.
Yeah, 100%. I used to be a big believer in having cookies and water at an open house because they would take that to the other open houses and like subconsciously like just associate you for 3 more houses because they're carrying your water around. Who knows? I don't know. But like, it's just all those I think the human psyche and behavior, is interesting,
So I always like to ask everybody this question. If you were on an island and you had to be there for a year, but you're different because you don't like music. So I always like to ask these questions. Like, if you were on an island, what book would you keep? What music artist would you listen to, and what TV show and movie would you watch? And you could only have one of each.
Oh, book, it would either be Moneyball.
Okay.
I love Moneyball. I can read that. That's like about baseball analytics. For music,
you were never a big music. You're so creative. It's funny too because creative people usually love music, and you are a very creative person.
Thank you.
And you're not like you've never liked music.
Yeah,
for as long as we've known each other.
Yeah. 311's good.
Yeah.
Jack Johnson I like.
You went through that phase.
Arms.
Yeah, Wellesley Arms. Yeah.
Honestly, Wellesley Arms is probably one of my favorite bands. So yeah, bluesy kind of like
bluesy rocky kind of some stuff, laid back stuff. Yeah,
exactly. So what was the other one?
TV show.
Oh gosh.
I want a TV show.
Oh god, there's so many good ones because you want to do longevity. I think you got to have something that has a lot of years, a lot of seasons.
Yes,
I
agree.
Go Game of Thrones because you got 8 seasons of hour-long episodes of each one. So and it's until the end it was awesome, and then the last.
Yeah, everybody said the last season or whatever wasn't
great. Stop at
I've never watched it.
At like the dark or the things like but So I would probably say.
I rewatch so much stuff.
I know.
I think it's just because like a comfort thing.
The Office is always a go-to.
Like I still watch Scrubs.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was our We used to watch Scrubs all the time.
I watch Arrested. I don't ever watch like new stuff anymore. It's very hard for me to get into new stuff.
And part of it is that when you're watching TV, is you're working or you have other stuff going on, so you don't
can't pay attention.
So you're not really absorbing anything that's really going on. So it's like, I just want to get through. I just finished *Halt and Catch Fire*, and that was awesome. Like that was one of my favorite shows probably that I've watched.
You are a big movie guy though.
Oh, I love movies. Yeah, that's my.
What was that pass you had that was hilarious?
Movie pass, Eagle Pass. Like I had any pass that they could give me for movies because that was my release. And I think like when you start getting into where you start running businesses and have, you try to have this work-life balance. And for me, movies were that thing where I would go into the top row in the movie theater, and I would sit there and I'd text people, but like, no one's interrupting me. It's a dark theater, and normally no one's in the back row in a 12 o'clock movie.
There's 4 people in the theater to begin with. There's nobody there.
So normally I can just text and get stuff, email, and get stuff done while watching a new movie for $15 a month, and it was like my, thing to
stress
do.
reliever.
Exactly. So I really like movies, and it's hard to pick one though. You know what I mean? It's like, how would you pick one movie to watch forever? Shawshank's awesome.
You only got a year. You're only on the island for a year.
Oh,
so you're only there for 365 days.
Oh gosh.
So you're only watching it for 365 days.
Like Ready Player One. I think Shawshank Redemption I could probably watch over and over. Forrest Gump I could probably watch over and over. It's like 3 hours. God, that would be so hard.
Mine would be Goodfellas.
I was gonna say, what was your? Oh, good. Oh, nice. That's
I watched.
One.
Yeah, my wife.
I was just watching that the other day.
My wife will tell you that she has watched that far too many times, and can't stand me when I start screaming Karen in the house as I'm doing stuff. Or I left.
You're cooking and you're like,
Yeah, I left. I sent her a bunch of memes one day of, when they're making the gravy, and she just ignored me the entire time because I had to work, and I had the sauce on the stove, and I was like, "You can't let it burn." Like I was doing the whole thing, and she just stared at me, just deadpan.
Is there a helicopter?
Yeah, just had enough of me. So.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that's a classic. So yeah, it's hard to it's hard to narrow it down, because
if you had a free day tomorrow, you knew no one was going to call you, you had nothing going on work wise, what would you do? You just had 24 free hours.
And besides spending time with
your family,
exactly.
If you were just doing something for yourself,
if I woke up in the morning, I would go kayaking.
Okay.
Then I would go to a movie.
Okay.
And then I would do some work to feel like I did something productive, and then I'd probably play video games the rest of the day.
All right, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that response.
And then I'd go eat. I'd have to go eat somewhere.
Yeah.
Though. Like somewhere before I'd go to Sokolowski's. That would have been my...
Yeah, we always have this thing, you ask people questions, and it's funny, especially moms and dads.
Yeah, right.
Because you'll ask them, hey, what would you want to do?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, I'd like to hang out with my family. And it's all right, we all know.
Yeah, we all know that.
You didn't have a family because you hate them.
Your politically correct answer, we all get it.
Yeah.
But when you really break down to what you actually want to do versus
because you give up
morph into,
When you get married and when you have kids, you give up a lot of your time.
Yeah, and maybe it just shifts. It's not necessarily.
And how old's your oldest now?
Nicholas is 8. Yeah, okay. So it's
Mikey will be 7. As they get older and older, you spend less and less time with them, which is weird.
And I think it's because they want to spend less and less time with you. They start getting their friends, and they start getting, Nicholas is now getting to the point where he's playing video games he's playing Fortnite with his friends online, and he's playing Minecraft with his friends, and it's don't get me wrong, now it's adapting. I think it's interesting how parenting is kind of adapting now, where it's before, maybe I would go throw the ball with Nicholas in the yard, and we still do all of those things,
But it's a lot less time you spend together.
Yeah, it's hey, now I want to learn how to play Fortnite because he plays Fortnite, and that's how I can relate with him. Or, with Lily, she likes to paint fingernails, that's what she likes to do, so she gives me manicures all the time. You know what I mean?
That's what they want to do.
Yeah, it's just you adapt to what they like, and it's kind of interesting how...
I get really sappy. My wife will show me pictures of them when they're really little, and I'll get teary-eyed. I hate it. When Mikey graduated preschool, I cried in the back of the, and everyone's looking at me like I've lost my mind, and I'm like, he's just getting so much older.
I totally, and you have little babies still.
I do. It's weird
you're
now.
Fortunate in that.
Yeah.
I still
clamor for them. They get excited when the babies get excited when I get home. The older kids are like, "Oh, cool, Dad's here," but they're like, "Whatever."
If you ever need me to get excited when you walk in the door, just let me know.
That's why people get dogs. I understand why people get dogs now, because you walk into the house and you're like, "Oh, something loves me."
Yeah,
I came home from a long day. Yeah,
no matter what happened, and it's we have 3, and it's just craziness, But that's what's fun about it, It starts to become this, it's why. It's funny how you start to build this family, and it's why would I want to hang out with it's not you obviously you have to have your friends and everything like that, but it's you're seeing them get older is they're only young for so long where they actually want you around and they actually want you to be where
vacations are going to be drastically different when your kids are 15 compared to when they're 7.
100%. I'm so fortunate that they still want me to read them a book at night.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And sometimes you're so tired and you're like, oh my God, but you sit there and you're like, oh, 10 years from now they're gonna be driving and I'm gonna be worried about them driving and with their friends and what's going on. So
are you gonna give them cell phones?
It's the big debate right now of when does that actually happen and when is it I'm the worst because I had a cell phone.
You did. You were one of the.
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah, I had a cell phone.
I remember that.
2nd or 3rd grade, because when the first $100 or one of the first amounts of money I ever did is I asked my mom if I could go to AT&T and buy a prepaid phone. Remember that?
Yeah.
My Jenko jeans.
Yes.
Go to the mall.
Yes. You have 1,000 breath mints in your pockets because you love breath mints.
Yeah, exactly. And we had this big bulk of a Zach Morris brick phone that we'd carry around, and everyone thought I was stupid back then. Remember I would carry that, or when I would have cell phone back when I was when I had my first PC, and parents were thinking why do you have that I'm a drug dealer or something like that, it was no, look, I can look up movie times right on my phone, and I'm no one's gonna need that, it's
you were always you were on the cutting edge of tech always. You always loved that stuff, the virtual reality stuff and the cell phones and the laptops.
I think that's what's so
eating ice cream for breakfast, that was a big thing for you.
I know. I got my full gambit of how ridiculous that was, all that stuff.
You had a water bed.
Yeah. Mike and I used to have sleepovers, and
you had all sorts of. You were on the cutting edge of stuff.
We used to do all sorts of crazy stuff.
Do you ever miss? I was thinking about it today when I was driving in because I was like, what kind of questions will I ask Eddie? Because we've known each other forever. We could. Do you ever? Because you kind of stopped playing baseball when you were We played baseball
yeah.
that one last year together and
Right.
hated it.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know exactly. Yeah.
We were on the same team
Yes.
finally,
And
and it wasn't great. And that was like our
I
last
think
year
you
playing.
and I had a lot of fun playing. It was
We
just-
loved it.
If we were on a we were in a different scenario.
Do you ever regret like not pushing yourself to play more, or no?
Well,
Do you ever think about
part
it?
of it is like during baseball trials,
Because you were a good pitcher.
I had a Crohn's flare.
You did, I
And
remember
then,
that, yeah.
I actually went into the hospital, I believe, for a few days.
I think
at
you
that
did,
point,
yeah.
And then I couldn't make trials that year, and then I wasn't able to pass a physical. I think this summer.
It was always a
There was
surprise
always-
when you were at
and-
school.
Yeah, it was. It was, wasn't it? Because at that time they didn't
know.
Crohn's. Yeah, so I think I weighed 107 pounds at one time. I looked sick. I mean, I looked sick.
Yeah.
I just, you couldn't really tell me exactly what was wrong. And, so it was, unfortunately I had people like you who were like, still like wanted to be my friend when I came to school because I missed 25 days a quarter. Like
You missed a lot of school days.
I missed school all the
Yeah.
time. Like, and
Yeah.
I felt like sick. I was sick every
People
day.
would be like, "Where's Eddie?" They would ask me like,
Yeah.
"Where's Eddie?" I was like, "I don't know. He's
Yeah,
sick again. I'll see
exactly.
him this weekend. I'm
I
sure
know.
we'll play video games."
Exactly, so it
You
was
used to always fall asleep first at the sleepovers,
Yeah, exactly, 100%.
and then you would I would wake up at like 8 a.m. and you would be like 4 years into a franchise in Madden.
One of the things that Mike did, this is going back to probably one of the worst things someone's done to me, and this is just brutal. We were at a sleepover. One of the first sleepovers we ever had was with Nick Kerner.
Yeah.
Nick Kerner, see if he...
Just paying attention and listening.
Mike, when I fell asleep first, Mike and Nick, I don't know, I'm sure.
It was mostly just me. It was just me.
Put icy hot on my nipple. And for the next 4 days, I am not kidding you, it burned like the Dante's Inferno was on my nipple. It was insane how bad that hurt. Like that was crazy. So
I used to rub that stuff on my muscles. That was great.
yeah, but
I see. That was fantastic.
So
Tiger balm.
Yeah. But,
I used to. I still remember when I can still paint. I'm not a great artist, but I can paint a picture of you like sleeping, going like this.
God, I will never.
'Cause it was
forget
burning.
That pain was unbelievable for 2 days. Like it was like
You used to
ice
always-
and hot. It was.
You would forget sometimes, so you rub your muscles with it, and if you didn't wash your hands good enough and maybe rubbed your eyes,
Oh yeah.
you'd be
It'll-
just crying.
Oh yeah.
for hours.
Oh my goodness, I never really understood I was like, oh, it's just a cream that you put on and it did its job.
Yeah.
But like after that, oh my gosh, like that was eye opening.
So I have two last questions I'd like to end everything with. If you had one final meal on this earth, what would it be?
Oh, that's a good one.
And it could be anything.
It'd probably be prime rib.
Oh yeah, you do love your prime rib.
Prime rib.
What would you have for
potatoes.
dessert?
Oh gosh, Mary Golden, my wife. She is a pretty amazing baker, and the most recent thing she made is it's a s'more cake.
I want that cake so bad.
Unbelievable. Like I've never eaten anything quite like it.
The pictures looked amazing.
There's only like 2 or 3 desserts and I'm a big sweets person. There's probably 3 desserts I've ever had in my life that were like, holy crap, like that's amazing. Or maybe 5, but I don't remember all of them. But that one was a whole different. Because I love s'more stuff. Yeah, I know you love. s'more stuff
that's
too.
my favorite.
I know. That's
I'll eat 100 of them.
Yeah.
When we have a fire in the backyard,
Yeah,
I'll eat 1,000 of them.
Yeah,
I love them.
Like we remember my fat kid story where I would like go up in my room and like I used to keep a lighter in my room and marshmallows and s'more supplies, and up at 11:30 my mom came up in my room one time and found a lighter and she thought I was smoking. Like she thought I smoked cigarettes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, Mom,
I'm just making homemade s'mores.
S'mores up in my room at 11.
What kind of excuse is that?
Exactly.
Who's gonna believe that? She's like, oh yeah, you're lying.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm roasting the marshmallow with my
Oh,
lighter
my
at
goodness.
like 11:30 up in
I mean, it's a great idea though.
I love s'mores. They were just the best. And that's my biggest fat kid story. I would just keep all those.
So what's the plan for 2021? Work wise, personal wise. You gonna go on vacation? What's the
I think
any big thoughts?
COVID's obviously hard.
Yeah.
It makes traveling a little more challenging. I think we definitely want to go on vacation. We've talked about a lot of different things. Just hard to figure all that out. I think it's we started a couple businesses last year and getting those on even ground and. Just keep growing the real estate companies, and just kind of make sure that everyone is happy and, keep growing at a pace that doesn't kill everyone. And, we just keep doing everything we do, but yeah, I think it's going to be a very interesting year in real estate and life in general. As we recover from the craziest year we'll probably ever have, hopefully. So
yeah, it's been a wild year.
Yeah, I shouldn't say that. Hopefully that's the. Who knows?
You have to change your business on the fly, and school and I mean, movie theaters are closed down and
right. Like I can't even go to movie theaters.
It's wild.
It's really weird that all of a sudden I can't go to movies and my business all of a sudden went up big time.
Right? Yeah. Right? It's weird. It's weird what happens when you fill in your time when you can't screw off and enjoy yourself. Exactly. But I want to thank you for letting me join the group 3 years ago and
oh my gosh,
always being super supportive of me.
Yeah, it's fun. One of the things that I don't think I'll ever take for granted in life is that I get to go to work with my best friend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, how many people get to say that? You know what I mean?
There's not a lot.
Ever. Like, it doesn't matter if it's a year, 10 years. It doesn't matter. Like, I mean, like, we used to talk about, like, owning some business.
Yeah.
We talked about video games. We always talked about, like, it being more in the video game realm and stuff. And it's like, I mean, obviously this is probably a lot more profitable.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Just a touch.
Exactly what we would have done. So we talked about a lot of stuff, but like, it's never something that gets lost where you get to go to work and not only like work with you, but like see you dominate. Like, I mean, you're awesome. Like, I mean, it's not just like you come in and you're like, oh, you're my friend I get to work with. You're such an important part to our team and to our culture and to just like our whole office, really, and you're just contagious. You know what I mean? That's the best quality that you have from the minute, like you are very, you're incredibly smart and people are just drawn to you. Like, and you don't care if people like you. You don't care if they don't like you. It's just
there's not a lot of people that are just like Mike's okay. You either really like me or you really hate me. And there's not a lot of it between.
About you is that you're just you. And I think that's what really a lot of people see about you. You're genuine. Like, hey, like you might not be for everyone, and just like everyone isn't for everyone, but like the people who you are for love you more than any person because you're so freaking contagious. Like, I mean, I would kill for you, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, you're like a brother, you know what I mean? Way more than just a friend, but it's like, it's so funny, like, to like see how you have grown into this role and into real estate and just like really taking off.
Well, look, I mean, you've put together, I always say a great salesperson is only as good as the, as the support they have around them. And you've, there's no reason to reinvent the wheel when you've already invented it when it comes to real estate. So, I mean, being able to give a person that knows how to sell to people those benefits when you're trying to, list or be their buyer's agent is just, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I have no excuse. If I lose something, I have no excuse. Other than I failed.
It's like, you're going to have your ups and downs.
Yeah.
And that's what, like, we're...
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Like, a lot of salespeople don't realize, and I think even business people in general, no matter what you work in, like, it's never going to be perfect.
Yep.
You're always going to have shortcomings or failings.
Yep.
And you're only as good as how you can overcome that stuff.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people get bogged down too much in losing something and I always tell people, like, you should be mad. Like, if you're not mad about it, then that means you don't care and you should go find something else.
Right.
But you can't let it eat away at you.
Yeah.
And I've always kind of been like, give me 24 hours, let me be angry for a day, and then I'll rebound tomorrow.
Exactly. You're exactly right. Because it's like, man, people see all the successes. They don't see all the failures, and they are a lot of them. And
they don't see all the time and energy you've put in just to get to that point.
Like, I mean, you go through these things. Like, hey, like the photography business, even it's like, I care about that so much. And when we go and work with a client, we put all this time and energy into it, and then they stop using us. It's like, oh man, like that sucks. I want to.
What did I do wrong?
Like,
what can we do better?
What can we do? And it fuels me. And I think there's a couple different people in the world. It's like, I think sometimes when you have negative things happen to you, you can either wallow in your self-pity and just be like, oh, woe is me, and just...
And blame everybody else, and
Or you can use it as fuel to get better and motivate you to do other things. It's like, hey, we grew up in weird situations, I mean? We didn't come from money, like we worked our butts off to get to where we get to, and, it's... there's a lot of adversity that goes along the way, like I've been fired, you've been fired, like you go through a lot of different changes in life.
I'll be fired again, I'm sure.
Hopefully not. Yeah, I know, that's what, like, I mean, who knows, that's what's fun about the journey, like, cause it's like, who knows, it's like, 5 years ago, I mean, we've been at Keller Williams 2.5 years now. 2.5 years.
I know.
Like, I mean, it's like...
It's crazy.
Crazy how fast that
It'll be, I'll have my license 3 years, April 10th or something, 15th, like, somewhere in there.
How fast that
feels like a lifetime. I've had twins since then.
Yeah, I know. Think about how much has happened in your life since then. It's like, I mean, you're, selling $10 million in real estate with twins, and you're a huge part of it. I mean, just everything. It's like, oh my gosh, like in 3 years, what's going to happen in the next 3 years, the next 5 years, the next 10 years of your life?
You hope it all compounds and that ball keeps flying down the hill.
Exactly. It's like, you think of all the top people in our profession, or in any of these professions, and you see where they're at, and you like, I want to get there.
Mm-hmm.
But every long journey has this. They start with one step. They started with something. They did something that got it all going, and then it starts to snowball. And you give any business so many 20 years, 30 years with the right people, and surrounding yourselves with more. The key to life is just surround yourself with as many good people as you can.
I agree.
It all works, and try and fit in.
You got to get people. We always kind of say that you want people to pull on the same end of the rope.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
you can't. It's tough enough trying to get business from other people, and then you've got your own group fighting you at the other end.
Yeah,
it's difficult to run businesses, or even have personal and professional relationships with people when that happens.
100%.
So,
and it's important to get people bought in. I'm lucky I have you. I'm lucky I have Sarah, Shannon. I mean, there's so many other like pieces there that are so beyond me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm such a small part, at this point, like it's.
Well, I hate to.
Behind the lady filming us right now.
I know, shout out to Carly having to sit here and watch all of us.
Exactly,
But I hate to cut you off.
Yeah, I know.
Because you have to go show a bunch of houses.
Exactly.
Because the struggle never ends.
I know, right?
But I want to thank you for being the first guest. I love you.
This has been great. I'm really happy for you.
Visit me at the bigbadlistingdaddy.com.
Yeah, exactly.
Find me on Facebook.
BBLD.
That's right.
Hashtag BBLD.
What's our website? TheGoldenGRP.com?
GoldenGRP.com.
Visit us there.
Exactly.
Our listings are few right now, but
I know.
It'll get crazy again in the summer.
Yes, and this is the type of person that you want to be working with. Like, this is a creative person. He's making videos right now. He does awesome marketing information. Like,
well, I wouldn't say awesome.
No, it's creative.
Some people don't like it as much.
Yeah, but I think part of it, real estate, is being yourself and being unique, and you do that in spades. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, brother. Love you.
Thank you so much.
Have a good one.
Awesome.
Good luck today.
Oh yes, thank you. All right. See ya.
See ya.